Hi friends, welcome to another video of Pocket Cache. In this video, we will be discussing about pharmaceutical suspensions. Before going to the video, please subscribe our channel so that you will get timely notification whenever we upload a new video. We can define a suspension as a heterogeneous biphasic liquid dosage form of medicament in which finely divided solid particles of size between 0.5 to 5 micron are dispersed in a liquid or semi-solid vehicle. In this, the solid particles act as the dispersed phase, whereas the liquid vehicle act as the continuous phase. Generally, these suspensions are taken by oral or by parenteral route, but they are also used for external application. Now, coming on to the advantages of formulating a drug in the form of suspension. We know that there are certain drugs having bitter or any other unpleasant taste. So by formulating it in the form of a suspension, we can able to mask the unpleasant taste. We can also prolong the action of dosage form. We can improve the bioavailability of the drug. Like every other dosage form, suspension also have certain disadvantages like it requires shaking just before use. Accurate maintenance of dose is difficult, and on storage it leads to changes in dispersion due to settlement of particle. Since these are a liquid dosage form, it is bulky to carry. Then what are the ideal qualities of a good suspension? A good suspension should settle at a slow rate and should be easily redispersible on gentle shaking of the container. It should also be easily pourable from the container, and the suspended particle should not form a hard cake. Based on the route of administration, we can classify suspension into four. Suspension meant for oral administration, that is oral suspension. Second one is parenteral suspension. Third one ophthalmic suspension. And last one is external use suspension. In addition to that, we can also classify the suspension as flocculated suspension and as a deflocculated suspension. Now just give a look to comparison between flocculated and non-flocculated suspension. In case of flocculated suspension, the rate of sedimentation is high, whereas in case of non-flocculated suspension, a rate of sedimentation is low. While considering the nature of sediment, in case of flocculated suspension, the sediment is loosely packed and does not form a hard cake, so it is easy to redisperse. But in case of non-flocculated suspension, the sediment is very tightly packed and a hard cake is formed, so redispersion is very difficult. In flocculated suspension, we can see a clear supernatant liquid, whereas in case of non-flocculated suspension, the supernatant liquid is not clear, it is a little bit cloudy. While considering the overall appearance, flocculated suspension is not pleasing in appearance, whereas in case of non-flocculated suspension, it is pleasing in appearance. Now moving on to the formulation of suspension. The ingredients used for formulating suspension include wetting agent, flocculating agent, thickening agent, a preservative, a buffering agent, coloring agent, flavoring agent, and suitable sweetening agent. What is a wetting agent? These are substances that are used to reduce the interfacial tension between the continuous phase and dispersed phase, thus produces a suspension of a required quality. Certain examples for wetting agents are given, like alcohol, tragacan mucilage, glycerin, sodium alginate, bentonite, etc. In the definition of suspension, we define it as a dispersion of a solid particle in a vehicle. So, in order to improve the dispersion, we can add a surfactant or a protective colloid, and this acts as the flocculating agent. This flocculating agent can act through one of the three mechanisms, either by reducing the surface tension or by improving the dispersion of solids and by minimizing the flocculation. Examples for flocculating agents include sodium lauryl sulfate, twine, spans, carbowaxes, and electrolytes. Another important ingredient of suspension is thickening agent. Thickening agents are used to provide the suspension with a suitable consistency. Thickening agents can be classified into polysaccharides, inorganic agents, and synthetic thickening agents. Polysaccharide type of thickening agents can be classified further into natural polysaccharide and semi-synthetic polysaccharide. Example for natural thickening agents include gum acacia, tragacan, starch, etc. Whereas methyl cellulose, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose, and microcrystalline cellulose comes under the classification of semi-synthetic thickening agents. An example for inorganic agent is clay and aluminum hydroxide, and carbomer colloidal silicon dioxide comes under synthetic thickening agents. The next and most important ingredient is preservative. A preservative is added to prevent microbial growth in suspension, and the selected preservative should be effective against a wide range of microorganisms. Examples for preservative agents include benzoic acid, sodium benzoate, methyl and propyl paraben, etc. Another ingredient is buffering agent. An optimum pH is required for the stability of suspension. So, in order to maintain this optimum pH, buffering agents are added so that it will resist any changes in pH. Sodium citrate is one example for buffering agent used in suspension. In order to improve the appearance or organoleptic properties, we can add suitable coloring agent, flavoring agents, and sweetening agents.